Hello there. Nobody has an opinion. Yep, I'm back for a little bit. Listening to the news of the day or just driving around the country and seeing people interact, you begin to realize how important education really is, and the fact that history really needs to be taught. There's an old statement that says that history repeats itself. We are always doomed to repeat history. Why is that? Well, because we fail to learn the lessons that we learned once upon a time. History can be very traumatic and bad. There's a lot of bad stuff that happens. But if you throw that out because you don't like it, if you dismiss it because several years later you're looking at it through a different perspective, in the end, it's going to come back around and you're going to go ahead and repeat the same process. Today, well, probably something that's been building easily for the last 20 years. Today, there's a lot of folks that can stand around and say, there is a culture war happening. There's class warfare that's happening right now. It's predominantly people with money, people with power, versus people who have no power or people who have no money. Let's use an example that could be easily identified and looked up. Early in the 1900s, what was it, 1920, 1918, something like that? Early in the 1900s, the USS Titanic sailed. And everyone knows the tragic story of what happened. The Titanic was looking to make a run, and they were looking to do it in a record-setting fashion. So they were moving through an area known for icebergs quicker than they had the ability to recognize the icebergs. Now, that particular period of history, that time frame, is notable because there was class warfare. There was classes of people. That was a known normality of society. You had first-class citizens, second-class citizens, third-class citizens. All right? To use the Titanic as that example, the people who survived when that ship went down, the majority of those people, if memory serves, maybe only a third of the people survived. Most of them women and children. What do you want to bet there was a higher percentage of first-class women and children that survived versus third-class women and children? Today, there's not the social normality of people designated in class, this class or that class. Instead, here in the United States, we all have the ability to go out and make a lot of money if you are in the right kind of job position or you hold the right kind of political clout. Technology has taken over and everybody has embraced it because it's convenient But the people who operate and run that technology, they are worth so much more money than anyone else thought was possible. Entertainment is there to alleviate or take your mind off what's going on during the day, what your actual reality is. But the people who do the entertaining, most of them, or the people who are, the ones that you know and the ones that you're going to go out and see, are worth so much more, or have so much more money and power and class standing than the average person that goes and sees them. Let's use the NFL as an example. All right? You're a guy in high school or way back, he was a little child, middle school or even grade school, and you go off and you start playing football, American football. All right? You work real hard. You become very good at what you do. You train. You come up through the ranks. You have colleges go out and scout you. You graduate high school. You go to a college that decides to bring you in. You go and play for said college, and hoping that someone is going to take a look at you and then hopefully make it into the NFL. I say hopefully because the NFL roster is very small in comparison to the amount of people who start the process of wanting to play football. I said, when I first started that statement, I said, you're a guy who starts off and does all this stuff. For easily the last 5 to 10 years, there's been some kind of a push where women can make it into football. Okay. If you got a woman who has the ability and it has the desire to go out and be on the field and play in the same manner in which all the guys do, okay, fine. Not a problem. I got no problems with that. If she's willing to be out there and be hit in the same manner that all the guys get hit, good for her, if that's what she wants to do. Now, the push for women to be in football has resulted more in women being kickers than anything else. Again, not a problem. And if you got a kicker that's willing to go out there and get hit or make a hit, not a problem. Even if you got a woman that wants to go out and be a kicker and never get hit and just kick the ball, I don't have a problem with that either. Okay? As long as they do whatever the team needs for them to do. If you can do it well, good for you. But you don't see women in the NFL. And that has nothing to do with gender bias or any other kind of political something or other that you want to put on that statement. It has to do with numbers. It has to do with the fact that the NFL is a very small amount of people. You got 32 teams with 52 players. Okay? Let's see. That's 1,500, a little more than 1,500 people. 1,500 players. There are far too many high school football teams for me to even guess at. College is just outrageous with the amount of teams that there are. So, making it to the NFL level, you're special. Now you have these unions who have gotten together and said that NFL contracts need to be a lifelong wage. You have people on the field, their starting salaries are $400,000, $450,000. The long snapper, the guy who simply hikes the ball to the punter so that he could, to the punter or to the guy who's holding the ball for a field goal or extra point. That guy who's on the field only occasionally, who has one specific job. He probably makes $350,000 to $400,000 a year. I'm not saying he's not worth it, but when the average household income in the United States is $50,000 a year, this guy makes 8 times that to play 19 or 20 weeks out of a year. Again, I'm not saying he's not worth it, but we're not even talking about the quarterback, wide receivers, or any of those positions that everybody knows. And today, these people, these athletes who are special, who have obtained some sort of level of physicality that most people are not going to obtain, these are the people who are going to lecture the average everyday public in regards to racial injustice. These people who make way more money than most of the people who might be in the stands, and they're going to be the ones to tell the average public about what we're doing wrong. Class warfare. We need some men, some actual real men, to stand up and get a hold of the situation. And we could definitely use God. So let's pray for this country. Y'all enjoy your day. Bye.